Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Before starting the class, एक बार बता दो is that my voice is clearly audible and screen is clearly visible or not. थोड़ा सा glitch आ गया था इसलिए थोड़ी सी लेट हो गई क्लास. I hope now I am visible to every one of you. All okay. Thank you Nilesh. तो जल्दी से आ जाओ वापसी. Now we are going to start with a new chapter today that is accounting for the share capital transactions. Right? Kare start. Everyone present here. चलो let's start. देखो, when we started our accounting, we started from the accounting of a sole proprietorship, if you remember. Then yesterday we covered accounting for a partnership. Today we are going to start with the accounting for the company. So what is the difference between sole proprietorship, partnership and company? In sole proprietorship, we have only one single owner who invested his capital or her capital in the business. In partnership, we have seen that there are more than one owner, like we did yesterday. I and Namita were the partners, or A and B were the partners. Okay? Here we have two or more owners. We can say few, 250, 100. Okay? They contribute capital and do business to earn profit. Okay? Now what is a company? Let's say we have to expand our business and it requires a huge corpus which is difficult to be contributed by few people like 100, 200. Here's come the role of a company. कंपनी में होता क्या है? बेसिकली द कैपिटल इज कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटेड बाय सो मेनी पीपल. बेसिकली यहां पे बहुत सारे, देयर आर सो मेनी ओनर्स. let's say we have a capital of 1 lakh rupees. So in case of sole proprietorship, 1 lakh rupees is contributed by that one single owner. In partnership, that 1 lakh rupees is contributed by partners. Let's say 60,000 contributed by me and 40,000 by Namita. Okay? In sole proprietorship, this amount is not contributed by 100, 200 or 500 people. It will be taken from so many people. So when we require a huge amount of fund to run a business, we generally do our business as a company. समझ आ गया? Now I am going to divide my capital. Here I divided into one, मतलब one person only contributed it. Here 2 to 3 contributed. I divide this into so many parts. I divide my capital into so many parts. Let's say I divided this 1 lakh rupees into 10,000 parts. ठीक है? Of let's say rupees 10 each. Now this one part of rupees 10 is known as share. Here in partnership I divided into 60,000 and 40,000. 60,000 contributed by me and 40,000 by Namita. Here I have not divided anything, but it contributed each and everything by own. But here I divided into small portions and asked public to contribute in my business, to invest in my business. तो मैंने अपनी कैपिटल को छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर लिया. दिस पार्ट इज नोन एज शेयर. So let's say I have this piece of paper. This is share of my company. This is worth rupees 10. ठीक है? Now I am going to sell this part of business to you, to public, to investors, and ask the funds from them. So the person who owns this paper, own this share, will be the owner of the बिजनेस। समझ आ गया तीनों में फर्क क्या है? अब चलते हैं आगे। देखो, लेट्स से इन शेयर कैपिटल आई सेड आई हैव 10,000 शेयर्स, 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each. Now it's my choice, it's my business. Either I can keep this all 10,000 shares with me, or what I can do, I give something, some units to investors, financial investors, high net individuals, or companies which generally invest venture capitals, right? I can give some units to general public, and remaining I will keep with my themselves. So it's totally my call how many units I want to give to public, how many units I want to give to my relatives, how many units to any investor. Okay? Now we have to cover the accounting for this allocation of shares to investors. चलें आगे, एक बार इंट्रोडक्शन ले लें। समझ आ गया व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप, पार्टनरशिप एंड कंपनी? जल्दी से एक बार बता दो। क्लियर? So a company is an entity incorporated through a process of law undertaking a business. It is an artificial person. If you remember, we have already discussed this artificial person that is different from the owners. Mukesh Ambani and Reliance are two different identities. Why we call a company artificial person? We call company an artificial person because it can own a asset. It can enter into contract. जो एक आम इंसान होता है ना, उसके टास्क कर सकती है। It can buy assets, it can sell assets. ठीक, समझ आ गया? If you have to open a company, you have to register your company in the Companies Act 2013 or any earlier act. सिंपल सी बात, ठीक है? आगे चलते हैं। Next is kinds of share of capital. Now I just mentioned, listen carefully. I now just mentioned that we have a capital of 1 lakh rupees. This is total capital. And I divided this into 10,000 shares of 10 each. Rupees 10 each. Yeah, it's my choice. I divide into 10, 20, 30, totally my call. I am the owner of the business. Chalo. Now, before issuing anything to public or to investors, I have to figure out now how much is the maximum I'm allowed to raise or to issue. That is known as authorized capital. Authorized capital क्या हो गया? Basically कि let's say in my memorandum of association. What is memorandum of association? My main document of the business, जिसमें मेरी सारी डिटेल्स लिखी हैं, उसमें I have mentioned that the maximum limit which I can issue as a shares is 5 lakh rupees. This is my maximum limit which I can issue as shares. This maximum limit is known as authorized capital. Think like your parents has approved you or given you a budget of 20,000 to spend on your birthday. Now it's your call that how much you want to spend. Similarly, this maximum limit is the limit above which a company can't raise the equity shares or can't raise the shares. तो ये maximum limit है. तो if you want to issue shares, आप maximum 5 लाख तक ही issue कर सकते हो. That is authorized capital. Sir, ये 5 लाख कैसे डिसाइड हुई? कंपनी डिसाइड करती है, मेंबर्स डिसाइड करते हैं, एंड दैट इज मेंशन्ड इन द मेमोरेंडम ऑफ एसोसिएशन. मेमोरेंडम ऑफ एसोसिएशन इज द मेन डॉक्यूमेंट ऑफ द बिजनेस. ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स से आई हैव डिसाइडेड दैट आउट ऑफ दिस 5 लाख आई विल इशू ओनली 1 लाख रुपीज. सर व्हाई 1 लाख? टोटली माय कॉल. यू कैन इशू 2 लाख, 3 लाख, 4 लाख. ठीक है. Totally your call. But you can't exceed 5 lakh rupees. A question can be raised from this, that can a company can issue shares more than 5 lakh authorized capital? The answer is no. समझ आ गया. Next is issued capital. This 1 lakh rupees is known as issued capital. Let's say I am the owner, maximum limit is 5 lakh. Now I am asking general public. I have a share of 10 rupees. Please invest in my business. तो मैं आप सभी को बोल रहा हूं कि मेरे से ये शेयर ले लो. Give me money. Give me 10 rupees. So if you take this share from me, you will become the owner of the business. And now it's your choice how many shares you want. I have total 10,000 shares. You can buy 5, you can buy 1, you can buy 50, you can buy 500. Any number of amounts you want. But ये 10 rupees का शेयर है. I want to give to you. आप मुझे पैसे दो. You will become the owner of the business. ठीक है, समझ आ गया. चले आगे. This is authorized capital. This is issued capital. Next आता है हमारे पास. Next आता है subscribed capital. I am asking भाई 10,000 shares हैं, 10,000 shares हैं, आके ले लो. Now let's say only 8,000 people came and asked कि sir I want to buy your shares. ठीक है, only 8,000 people came and said sir we want to buy your shares. Now I want to sell 1,000 shares of 10 each. ठीक है, only 8,000 people came and said sir मुझे आपके shares लेने हैं. Sir I want to buy your shares. This amount 80,000 rupees will be our subscribed capital. 80,000 will be subscribed capital that I have given shares to 8,000 people, 8,000 of students, 8,000 students. Here 8,000 जोड़ने के लिए स्टूडेंट्स हो. आप ये भी हो सकता है कि एक ने 10 मांगी हो, एक ने 20 मांगी हो, एक ने 30 मांगी हो. But there are total demand of only 8,000 here. So this is subscribed capital. समझ आ गया. Authorized, issued and subscribed capital. Now let's say you were asking कि सर मुझे खरीदने हैं. सर मुझे खरीदने हैं, राइट? ऐसे अब जरूरी थोड़ा कि 8,000 लिया है. If let's say I am selling 1,000 shares or 10,000 shares, right? ये भी हो सकता है कि only 8,000 were in demand. Only 8,000 students come and ask for shares. ये भी हो सकता है 10,000 आ जाए. And it will be a case also that more than 10,000 students will come. Sir, I want to buy your share. This is known as case of under subscription. And this is known as case of over subscription. समझ आ गया? तो I am selling 10,000 shares. If less number of people are interested, under subscription. If more people are interested, over subscription. ठीक है, ये बात समझ आ गया. अंडर सब्सक्रिप्शन में तो लड़ाई नहीं है क्योंकि I will give shares to 8,000 students. इसमें भी लड़ाई नहीं है. I will give shares to 10,000 shares. Now in this case where there is over subscription, now it's my choice. Either I can give shares to 10,000 students and reject remaining 5,000 students. ठीक है. Now my choice कि let's say you are asking 10 shares. I give you just 4 shares. तो मिल बांट के दे दिया मैंने. ठीक है, ये बात समझ आ गई. चलें आगे. Now what is the amount of share I am issuing? The face value. This 10 rupees. This 10 rupees is known as the face value of the share. Face value of the share. याद रखना. This 10 rupees is the face value of the shares. इतनी बात समझ आई? Let me take your few doubts. लेक्चर्स की पीडीएफ मिलेंगे इन दी कोर्स, एब्सोल्युटली राइट। Whole life of the company, Mamta. Authorized capital is applicable for the whole life of the business. Yes, a company can increase its authorized capital through meetings and approval from the government. But जब तक increase नहीं होती limit, that limit 5 lakh rupees is valid for whole life. Let's say for my business. Yes, absolutely correct, Dhananjay. Not one time, it's totally depend upon me. ठीक है, चले आगे। नेक्स्ट से लेट्स से, चलो ये आ गया। नाउ दिस फेस वैल्यू, लिसन केयरफुली, दिस फेस वैल्यू। नाउ आई एम सेलिंग शेयर्स, भाई 10 रुपए का शेयर ले लो, शेयर ले लो, शेयर ले लो, शेयर ले लो। नाउ लेट्स से यू ऑल कम टू मी कि सर मुझे हमें शेयर्स लेने हैं। I have not given a share to you. Listen carefully. I have not given a share to you. अभी 10,000 के 10,000 shares मेरे पास हैं. Today I hold all 10,000 shares. I want to sell it to you. Now I asked to check कि actually में which student is interested. I asked you to deposit me 2 rupees to apply for the shares. Listen carefully. Let's say if we go to buy house, तो वो बोलते हैं ना कि एक नॉमिनल अमाउंट थोड़ी सी पहले जमा करवा दो, या लेट्स से पे इन लिटिल बिट इन एडवांस. सिमिलरली आई एम आस्किंग प्लीज पे मी 2 rupees so that I can verify, I can check which are the actual buyers. So when now you are applying for the shares, when you are interested in the shares, please pay me rupees 2. This 2 rupees is known as application money. This 2 rupees is known as application money. I have not given shares to you. Remember that. You are just applying, sir. I want to buy. I want to buy. So to at least verify that ऐसा ना हो कि you applied, you don't have a money. So I ask कि at least pay me 2 rupees. If I give share to you, then pay me remaining 8 rupees. If I don't give you shares, if I don't allot you shares, I will give back 2 rupees. I will refund your 2 rupees. ठीक है? If I allot, give shares to you, you have to pay the remaining 8 rupees. समझ आ गया? What is the role of application money? Application money क्या हुआ? Amount invested या amount given by the investors for applying for the shares. ठीक. Now let's say you all are 15,000 people, you are 15,000 students and ask for one share, and you have given me 2 rupees each. Now you all are 15,000 shares. I can't give 15,000 shares. I am selling 10,000 shares only. So I will refund, let's say I will refund the amount of 5,000 shares. I will refund the amount 2 rupees to 5,000 students and ask remaining students कि ये लो shares, I have allotted you shares, please pay me 3 rupees right now. Please pay me 3 rupees right now. This 3 rupees is known as allotment money. What is allotment money basically? Now to remaining 10,000 students, I am saying, please keep this shares. You are now the owner of the business. Right now, pay me 3 rupees. Pay me 3 rupees. I am giving you shares. This is allotment money. I will ask. अच्छा आप पूछोगे, sir, बाकी 5. When will you take remaining 5 rupees? I ask you that I will take the 5 rupees after some time. ठीक है? Now after 3 months I require fund, then I ask for more 3 rupees. This is known as call money. This is known as call money. Let's say after 4 months I again ask you to pay your remaining 2 rupees. This is also known as call money. So all the amount which I called after allotment is known as call money. We will call it first call, second call, third call, fourth call, anything. So rather than taking 10 rupees in lump sum from you, I get this 10 rupees in installments. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? So this is application money when you are giving me 2 rupees and asking me, sir, please give me share. Now, if I allot you a share, I will ask for allotment money. If I don't allot you a shares, I will refund you 2 rupees. ठीक, after 3 months, let's say I call for a call money. After let's say 5 months, I called for a call money 16. Sir, is it compulsory to divide or take the amount in installments? The answer is absolutely no. Sir, it's compulsory कि face value 10 होगी? The answer is no. Let's say, sir, is it compulsory कि 2 3 3 2 होगा? The answer is no. It will be 1 5 10 any, मतलब not 5 10, 1 5 2 anything. ठीक है? A company can ask, ध्यान से सुनना, in practical life, in real life, company directly ask rupees 10 from you to apply and said कि if we give you allot you shares, we will keep this 10 rupees. If we don't allot you, we are going to refund you. In practical life, in real life, installments rare case में होती हैं, but in the rare cases, company generally asks for whole amount in the application. ठीक, देखो, this is method for asking money. ये जो मैं कर रहा हूं, listen carefully, I am giving you shares. This is IPO only. So I am giving a new shares to you. This is known as IPO, initial public offer. Understood? Now maximum companies ask for directly 10 rupees. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? Now let's say rather than a normal business, I am a Mukesh Ambani. Mukesh Ambani is the owner of Reliance Industries. Now we have very good reputation in the market. I will say, I am giving you, listen carefully, I am giving you a share of 10 rupees. Please pay me rupees 13. Not 10, let's say 13. I am asking the amount higher than this face value. I am giving you a share of 10 rupees and asking a 13 rupees. This extra 3 rupees, is known as premium. Premium. Why I am asking a premium? Because I have a very good reputation in the market. I know there are so many investors who are willing to invest in my business. So either I am asking extra amount higher than the face value. This is known as premium. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? Premium. Understood? अब now I can ask the premium with application or allotment or call. It's totally my call. I can ask the amount of premium with application, allotment, call money anytime. It's totally my call. ठीक है, ये बात समझ आ गई? That is issuing shares at par, issuing shares at premium. In real life, the value of, अच्छा practical life की बात कर रहा हूं, ध्यान से सुनना. In real life, you will find the face value of share is generally 1 rupees or 10 rupees, and the actual issuing price is somewhere 270, 800, 1000 rupees. There is a premium of 700, 800 rupees in actual life. So if you open or apply for IPO, next time check karna that what is the face value of the share. It's generally 1 rupee or 10 rupee only. ठीक है, चलिए. Sir, can we issue shares at discount also? मतलब for the accounting purpose, let's say rather than issuing share at 10, you issued share at rupees 8. I am giving a share of 10 rupees to you and asking only 8 rupees. That is issuing share at discount. ठीक है, issuing share at discount. It is not allowed इसका एक्सेप्शन है, सेक्शन है कंपनीज एक्ट में, दैट इशूइंग शेयर्स एट डिस्काउंट इज नॉट अलाउड एक्सेप्ट इन द केस ऑफ स्वीट इक्विटी शेयर्स। वो हमें कंपनीज एक्ट में नहीं जाना, यू विल स्टडी विद अनुज सर, ठीक है। सर हाउ इज प्रीमियम इज डिटरमाइंड? बेसिकली देयर आर इन्वेस्टिंग फर्म्स, बैंक्स, मर्चेंट बैंक्स व्हिच इन्वॉल्वड इन डिटरमाइनिंग कि भाई व्हाट शुड बी द करेक्ट प्रीमियम फॉर आवर कंपनी, व्हाट इज द रेपुटेशन ऑफ आवर कंपनी, इट्स टोटली डिपेंड अपॉन द गुडविल ऑफ योर फर्म। ठीक, ये बात समझ आ गई। चलें आगे। नाउ यू विल अंडरस्टैंड द concepts more clearly. First of all, what is called up money? What is called up capital? Called up capital क्या हो गया? As I mentioned, let's say I have a share of 10 rupees. In application I asked 2 rupees. In allotment I asked 3 rupees. ठीक है? In the first call I asked for 3 rupees. Total called up money कितना हुआ? Sir, total called up money हुआ ₹8. Let's say I issue 10,000 shares. So total called up money is 80,000 rupees. I'm still left to call 2 rupees. Let's say I will call it after some time. ठीक, समझ आ गया? 232. The amount which I asked you to pay, the amount which I asked you to pay is called up capital. What is paid up capital? ठीक है, let's say I have allotted shares to all of you, 1 shares to all of you. So when you are applying, you paid me 2 rupees. When you are applying, you paid me 2 rupees. Similarly, when I am allotting shares to you, you paid me 3 rupees. After let's say 3 months, I asked for a first call. Many of you, मतलब maximum of you paid me 3 rupees. ठीक है, बट लेट्स से फ्यू स्टूडेंट्स कि उन्होंने दे डिनाइड टू पे 3 rupees. दे सेड वी डोंट हैव मनी सर राइट नाउ. दे डिनाइड टू पे. लेट्स से ओनली 1 स्टूडेंट, ठीक है, आउट ऑफ यू 1 स्टूडेंट डिडंट पे मी मनी 3 rupees कॉल मनी. ठीक है, नाउ हाउ मच कैपिटल इज, मतलब हाउ मच अमाउंट आई हैव रिसीव्ड? I have to receive 30,000 in first call, right? Let's say 10 students in India, like -3 कर देते हैं. I have to receive 30,000 rupees, but 1 student didn't pay. The minus कर देंगे तो ये आ जाएगा 29,997. This is my paid up capital for the call money. ठीक है, कॉल्ड अप क्या हो गया? हाउ मच आई आस्क्ड यू टू पे. आई हैव आस्क्ड 8 rupees टू पे यू. अगर सिर्फ एक एक शेयर की बात करें, लिसन केयरफुली, 10 rupees is the face value. Called up capital, the amount which I asked you to pay, 8 rupees. Let's say one investor only paid 5 rupees and denied to pay the call money. The paid up capital is 5 rupees only for that individual. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? Now the next is reserve capital. यहां तक इतनी बेसिक समझ आ गई? That is important. एक बार बता दो जल्दी से, that is everything clear? Can we assume premium is the goodwill of the firm? You can't record that goodwill which we studied in the previous class. That is something different. You can say premium can be decided on the basis of goodwill. ठीक है, चलो आगे चले. Let's say we again start I'm again starting with my shares. I have issued, now let's say I have issued 10,000 shares. I have issued 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each. Out of this 10, I call 2 rupees in application, 3 rupees in allotment, and 3 in final call. Now I am not asking the remaining 2. Now I am not asking the remaining 2 rupees from you. सुधाकर मेरे पास आया, सर we are still pending to pay you rupees 2. The investors are still, shareholders are still, who are shareholder? The holder of this share is shareholder. So you all are shareholder now. You all are owner of my business now. So Sudhakar आया कि sir, I am still pending to pay 2 rupees. We still pending to pay 2 rupees to you. So when we have to pay that, I asked them, keep this 2 rupees with yourself. Keep this 2 rupees with yourself when I need funds for the business. जब लोड पड़ेगी, जब नीड पड़ेगी, then I will ask this 2 rupees. I am not asking this 2 rupees right now. I will ask when I need in the business, when there is a need in the business. So this 2 rupees into 10,000 shares, basically 20,000 rupees. 20,000 rupees is known as reserve capital. Reserve capital. I asked, when I will shut down the business, if I need funds to pay my liabilities, then I will ask this 2 rupees. समझ आ गया? Then only I will ask this 2 rupees when I have to wind up my business. तब चाहिए होंगे तो you will pay me. Right now I don't need this 2 rupees. This is known as reserve capital. It totally depends upon the company. They have to maintain reserve capital or not. And as I told you already, that nowadays company asked whole 10 rupees. They don't ask कि भाई application में दो, allotment में दो, call money में दो. They can do. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? अच्छा, don't get mixed with the reserve capital and capital reserve. देखो कितने सेम से नेम है. Don't mix with the reserve capital and capital reserve. These two are different concepts. तो reserve capital क्या हो गया? जो भी बताया, the rupees 2 which I kept in reserve to be asked in case of emergency or winding up of the business. Capital reserve is something else. जो reserve I have maintained out of my capital gains, capital profits. That is capital reserves. Totally different from reserve capital. Reserve capital, the amount held by me with my investors to pay me in winding of the business. And capital reserves are the reserves which I maintained out of my capital profits. Let's say I sold a building and I earned a profit. I get a profit on it. I received a profit on it. I kept that in my reserve. That is capital reserve. ठीक, समझ आ गया? चलो, सो एक एग्जांपल दे रखा है, इसको देख लेते हैं तो और भी क्लियर हो जाएगा. लेट्स से टाटा स्टील हैज एन ऑथराइज्ड कैपिटल ऑफ 5 लाख डिवाइडेड इनटू 50,000 शेयर्स ऑफ रुपीज 10 ईच. मतलब ऑथराइज्ड कैपिटल कितनी हो गई? 50,000 रुपीज. मैक्सिमम 5 लाख रुपीज. मैक्सिमम दे कैन इशू द कैपिटल is of 5 lakh rupees, but they issued 40,000 shares for public subscription. So हमारी issued capital क्या हो गई? 4 lakh rupees. They can ask for 5 lakh, they can ask for 2 lakh, 3 lakh, but not more than 5 lakh. ठीक है? The public took up only 35,000 shares. ठीक है, तो 35,000 की डिमांड आई, तो सब्सक्राइब्ड कैपिटल कितनी हो गई? 3,50,000 रुपीज. ठीक, the term of application are 3 on application, 3 on allotment, 2 on first call, balance on 2 and final call. So they said rather than paying me 10 in a lump sum, I will all call 3 in application, then 3 in allotment, then 2 rupees on a first call and 2 rupees on a final call. ठीक, ये बात समझ आ गई? तो ये कॉल्ड अप कैपिटल कितनी है? दे हैव अ कॉल्ड अप कैपिटल ऑफ रुपीज 8 ओनली. तो रिजर्व कैपिटल कितनी हो जाएगी? 2 into 10,000 20,000 रुपीज. ठीक, तो ये नाउ यू कैन चेक इट इजिली. ये अब बात कर लेते हैं कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ अ कंपनी. बेसिक हाउ कंपनी रेज फंड्स फ्रॉम पब्लिक, वो आपको समझ आ गया. After reading characteristics, our main task is the main chunk of the class, that how to record that thing in our books of accounts. This is accounting class. Till now I am telling you finance only, कि how to issue shares. ठीक, चलो Let's understand characteristics. It's important to understand characteristics. Questions directly यहाँ से भी आते हैं. First is separate legal entity. A business has a separate legal entity, totally different from the owner. Mukesh Ambani is different. Reliance Industry is totally different in eyes of law. ठीक है? They have perpetual existence. What perpetual existence means? Perpetual existence means कि member आएंगे जाएंगे मरेंगे, the business, there will be no impact on the business. There is a one story na कि if all members, if all shareholders, if all owners died in an event, or let's say in a plane crash, then also company didn't end up. ठीक है? तो कंपनी सारे शेयर होल्डर्स बनने के बाद भी बंद नहीं होगी. कंपनी कैन वाइंड अप ओनली बाय द लॉ, पूरे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस फॉलो करने के बाद. ठीक है? नाउ यू विल आस्क सर, इफ ऑल मेंबर्स डाइड then who is going to wind up? The court will wind up your business. ठीक. Next, common seal. As we already discussed, there is a common seal, common sign, which मतलब company has to sign documents now. How they can sign documents? So there is a common seal stamp which will be used in all the contracts. ठीक. Then transferability of shares. Now let's say I have allotted you Stuti, you, Namita, each of one of you one share. Now Stuti come to me and said, sir, I want my money back. I said, what happened? I'm doing my business very well. You are earning good dividends. What are dividends? The amount given to you. ठीक है? So let's say what I said. Stuti said, sir, I want my money back. I have paid you 10 rupees. Please keep this share. Keep your share with you. I want my 10 rupees back. I have some emergency. I need this amount. So I have already invested the amount given by you in the business. Let's say I bought a building, I bought a plant. How I can give back investor money? Right? So what I said here, Stuti, sell this share. Stuti, sell this share to someone else. ठीक है? Now Stuti will sell this share to someone else and get back the money, 10 rupees. So company is not going to pay back you money. When, listen carefully, एक finance का concept है. When I am issuing shares to you, that is basically primary market. Company is selling shares to investors. Now investors are selling shares to other investor, to someone else. So that is the secondary market. जो हमारे BSE है, Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchanges, there are stock exchanges. These stock exchanges are the secondary market where we trade our shares. And when we apply in the IPO, we call that as a primary market. IPO means company is issuing shares for the first time. Understood? समझ आ गया ये बात? तो ट्रांसफरेबल होते हैं शेयर्स, नॉट इन ऑल केसेस. जहां होते हैं वो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन हमें उतने डेप्थ पे नहीं जाना है. ठीक है? We have a limited liability of investors. Limited liability means, as in case of sole proprietorship, as in case of partnership, we have seen now, if there is the losses, higher losses than the incomes, or let's say if we sold our business, if the losses are huge, we have to repay the loan, then owner has to give the amount from their personal wealth. Right? Unlimited, here the liability is limited. So let's say if the business goes bankrupt and my liability increases my asset, somewhere I have a claim of higher amount. So in that case, you don't have to worry. You don't have to pay the amount out of your personal wealth. But listen carefully. Listen carefully. Let's say I have a share, I have a face value of 10 rupees. Now I ask 2 rupees in application, 3 on allotment. Now let's say after a few months, I didn't call up the call money and I go bankrupt. Now you have a liability to pay the remaining 5 rupees. तो जो आपकी शेयर है ना, जितने के you are owner of 10 rupees ना, you have liability to pay only this remaining amount, not the whole amount. ठीक है, you are liable to pay only 10 rupees. Total of 10 rupees. You already paid 5. You are remaining with 5. If in the case company goes bankrupt, you have to pay remaining 5 only. So that's why limited liability. Okay? In case of sole proprietorship, partnership, we have unlimited liability. Similarly, who controls the business? Who controls the business? Board of directors. Board of directors. See, you all are the owners of the business, right? You own the shares, you are the owners of the shares. Now, who is going to manage the shares? If each one of you come, it's very difficult to manage. There are so many different point of view. So it's very difficult to run a business. You all will decide, let's appoint these persons as a board of directors. As a directors, appoint these person as a director. They will run business for us. They are going to run business for us. So the board of directors are appointed by shareholders. Now the board of directors will run the business. और याद रखना, board of directors are the key holders who are going to run the business. That doesn't mean अगर founder they can, मतलब listen carefully, they can even क्या कर सकते हैं कि they can remove the founder of the business, जैसा हमने एप्पल के केस में देखा. In case of Apple, board of directors removed Steve Jobs from the CEO position. So here we can see that owner and business are different identities. अभी भी तो recent case हुआ था, मेरे को लिखा भी हुआ मैंने. Give me a second. OpenAI के CEO को, I think Sam कुछ नाम था, I don't recall his name. OpenAI, that is the company which operates ChatGPT. उसके board of directors ने also removed the CEO or the founder, Sam को, the founder of the ChatGPT. So board of directors की power is more than the founders. They are running the business. Sam Altman, ठीक है ऋषि. See, ठीक है. So board of directors run the business now. समझ आ गया? चले आगे. Let me get spewed out, sir. You can also get PDF. PDF will be available in the paid course. Sir, is it going concern? You can say business is a going concern, but not actually. Sir, I am from biology background. Do you think SEBI is doable within the short period for a biology? You have to be consistent. So after the class, I already show you that how you can easily answer the student. So there are so many. I think you are the first newcomer. So after every chapter, I show you can easily answer past year questions. So you can answer the remaining questions come in the exam also. You have to be consistent. You have to be more focused. You have to do little bit hard work as compared to commerce students. But yes, you can crack the exam. Okay, let's go ahead. That is, next is types of companies. So there are different options which you can start a company with. So first one is unlimited company. ध्यान से सुनना. These few are exception. We don't have to go in depth. Unlimited company is, in this case, all the shareholders has the unlimited liability. Earlier in real life, we have limited liability. In practical, we have a limited liability. As I told you, let's say if I ask 2 rupees in application, 3 in allotment, you are liable for the remaining 5 only. But let's say I started an unlimited company. Now all these shareholders have unlimited liability. They have to pay from the personal wealth. Or there is a company limited by guarantee. Limited by guarantee means, let's say we all are the shareholders and have decided that we guarantee a payment of, let's say 500 rupees. 500 rupees. Okay? So in case of wind up, in case of bankruptcy, you have to pay 500 rupees. Your share is not worth 500 rupees. Here is the amount you guarantee to pay. Here is the amount you guarantee to pay in case of bankruptcy. ठीक, समझ आ गया। नेक्स्ट दैट इज कंपनी लिमिटेड बाय शेयर्स, जो हम जनरली पढ़ते हैं, जो हमारा जनरली वी सी इन अ रियल लाइफ। वी हैव प्राइवेट कंपनी, पब्लिक कंपनी, वन पर्सन कंपनी। प्राइवेट जनरली कंपनी, अच्छा व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन प्राइवेट एंड पब्लिक कंपनी? एनी वन ऑफ यू, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन प्राइवेट एंड पब्लिक कंपनी? Let's check how many of you are sleeping. जाग जाओ जाग जाओ जाग जाओ जल्दी से। Minimum 2, maximum 7. I want difference. The main core difference between public and private company. I'm not asking about the minimum number of shareholders, minimum number of directors. That are some factual things. So if we have a 7% in a private company, that means it's a public company. You are saying if we have 2 members, then it is private. If there are 7, then it is public. Are you saying this? Somewhere Dhananjay goes on a right track. Hanji, you all are telling me the number of members, maximum or minimum. Is that mean if there are 2 members, then it is private, if it is 7, it is public? Mohan, shares of government 51%, public unless private. यहाँ मिले मुझे साइंस स्टूडेंट्स, आई थिंक आउट ऑफ कॉमर्स। Mamta, absolutely correct, which I am looking for. Listed in a stock market. Right, Shweta, absolutely. अक्षय, जिसके लिए मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा, देखो मैक्सिमम साइंस स्टूडेंट्स, मैक्सिमम नॉन कॉमर्स स्टूडेंट्स गेट कंफ्यूज्ड बिटवीन पब्लिक कंपनी एंड पब्लिक सेक्टर. लिसन केयरफुली, these two are two different concepts. These two are different concepts. Don't confuse कि भाई यहाँ पे पब्लिक है, यहाँ पे पब्लिक है. It means same thing. Here public means government sector. Private sector, public sector is different concept. Public company, private company is a different concept. They don't have any correlation between each other. It doesn't mean here we have a public, that means a government company. ठीक है, अब आओ आपसी मार्केट में. लिसन केयरफुली. प्राइवेट कंपनी एंड पब्लिक कंपनी. पब्लिक कंपनी कैन इशू इट्स शेयर टू जनरल पब्लिक. जनरल पब्लिक, नॉट टू ईच एंड एवरी वन. तो जो कंपनी आईपीओ लेके आती है, दैट is public company. They are issuing the shares to normal general public. If you have seen Shark Tank, जो companies आ रही हैं, they are private companies. They are giving their shares to angel investors, to sharks. They are not offering their shares to general public. So the companies which are issuing their shares to general public are public company. And the companies which are not issuing shares to general public is a private company. They are giving their shares to private individuals only. So जो IPO आ रहा है, means they are offering shares to general public, right? So these are the public company. Yes, when the shares are allotted to you, means if shares are allotted to general public, they can trade that shares in a secondary market. वो अलग बात हो गई. इनमें तो पब्लिक के पास है ही नहीं शेयर्स. समझ आ गया? एंड वन पर्सन कंपनी, दैट ऑल द शेयर्स आर होल्डिंग बाय वन इंडिविजुअल. देयर इज ओनली वन इंडिविजुअल ओनर ऑफ द बिजनेस. वन पर्सन कंपनी, राइट? इन केस ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर भी सेट कि भाई ये पब्लिक सेक्टर owned and managed, controlled by government, private owned, managed and controlled by the private individual. That public doesn't mean here. Now, what is government company? What is government company? Government company is any company. Either it could be private, either it could be public. any company in which more than 50, let's say 51% shares are holded by the government. Let's take an example of LIC, SBI. You can buy the shares of SBI and LIC in the stock markets. Means they are offered to general public. They are public company. Yes, more than 50% of the shares are owned by government. They are also government company. ठीक है, समझ आ गया डिफरेंस? समझ आ गया डिफरेंस? Why here 50%? Because then only government has a major decision power. चले आगे. Private company, public company, one person company. These facts which you all are telling me, number of members, transfer of shares, minimum number of directors, you can all read this. आगे चलते हैं kinds of shares. What are the different kinds of shares? As I told you, I am giving you share. This is share. Okay? There are different kinds of shares available with which I can issue. Generally, they are categorized into two only. That is equity shares. Second one is preference shares. Equity shares and preference shares. What is the difference between equity and preference? So what word preference means? किसी को थोड़ी इंपॉर्टेंस देनी, प्रेफरेंस देनी कि आप पहले. Same here, preference shares means we have to give them preference. So where we have to give them preference? Let's say when we calculated net profit, now we have to distribute that amount, the profit with the shareholders. Na? What is the ultimate goal? In sole proprietor also, net profit is transferred to capital account. In partnership also, we have created profit and loss appropriation account to distribute net profit. In case of company also, net profit will go to owners only. After keeping reserves, let's say after in net profit, I kept some reserve. Now I'm going to distribute this amount to my shareholders. That amount, the amount received by shareholders, is known as dividend. ठीक है, नेट प्रॉफिट के बाद रिजर्व्स रखे, रिजर्व्स में से जो भी अमाउंट आई, लेट्स से आई अर्न अ प्रॉफिट ऑफ 2 लाख रुपीज. Let's say I earned a profit of 2 lakh rupees. I kept reserve of, let's say, 1,20,000 rupees. Now I'm distributing this 80,000 rupees to all my shareholders, all of my students. I have 10,000 shares, so I'm giving 8 rupees to each individual. I'm giving this 8 rupees to each shareholder. This 8 rupees is dividend. Now listen carefully. What is the difference between equity and preference shares? Now I have to distribute 80,000 among my shareholders. Let's say I have issued equity shares and I have issued preference shares also. Now firstly, I will give dividend to preference shareholders. Now firstly, I will give dividend to preference shareholders. They have a preference to receive dividend. ठीक है sir, how much dividend? Generally the percentage of dividend is mentioned in front of the share, is the written in the preference shares. Let's say it is written you will receive 10%. So you have invested 10 rupees. You have invested 10 rupees. 10% of 10 rupees is 1 rupee. So I will pay, hypothetically ले लेते हैं, out of 10,000 shares, hypothetically ले लेते हैं 5,000 are equity shares, 5,000 are preference shares. So firstly I will pay 5,000 rupees, 1 rupee each to my preference shares, because at the rate of 10%. Now I will distribute this remaining 75,000 to equity shares. So 75,000 divided by 5,000, that comes out to be कितना आ गया 15 rupees. Now I'm giving this the dividend of 15 rupees to equity shareholders. ठीक है. अब in case you all will say, sir, we will buy only equity shares. Equity shares receive more dividend as compared to preference shares. Bacha, this is not correct. In case company, let's say, earned a profit of 3,000 rupees only, then preference shares will be paid this 3,000 and equity shares will not get anything. Let's say company earned a profit of 5,000 only, then a whole amount will be paid to equity shares. You will get nothing. ठीक, समझ आ गया. So here, in case of receiving dividend, they get a preference. Second preference they will get in case of winding up the business. When we wind up the business, preference shareholders will be paid before the equity shareholders. ठीक है. So in these two cases, in dividend and repayment of capital, when I wind up my business, when I wind up the company, so I will sell my assets, pay my liabilities, the remaining amount when I distribute between the owners, when I pay to return the capital, I firstly return the capital of preference shares. After that, I will return the capital of equity shares. So they will get preference in two places. ठीक है, समझ आ गया. Now इन दोनों के बीच का डिफरेंस, आई होप इट इज क्लियर. इधर आता है टाइप्स. इधर देख लेते हैं एक बार. मीनिंग हो गया, पेमेंट ऑफ डिविडेंड हो गया, पेमेंट रिपेमेंट ऑफ कैपिटल. देखो, here the rate of dividend is fluctuating. One day you will get 15 rupees, one day you will get 10 rupees, not day, in a year. One year you will receive only 2 rupees, one year you will receive nothing. Here generally dividend is fixed. If you receive dividend, in case of preference shares, you will receive 1 rupee only. Either company make higher profit or lesser number of profit. ठीक है, lesser amount of profit. Voting rights. Now listen carefully. Listen carefully. Who are the फिर main owners? देखो, generally equity shares are taking more risk ना. The voting power is with the equity shares only. Let's say company is making any decision, board of director आपने appoint करे हुए हैं, वो तो regular decision ले लेंगे. Let's say some major policy has to be changed. Now they will ask all the shareholders to vote to decide कि भाई काम करना है या नहीं करना. In case only equity share has the voting power. Preference shares don't have the voting power. Preference shares don't have the voting power. But अच्छा, फिर कंपनीज एक्ट पढ़ा देता हूं थोड़ा सा. इन कंपनीज एक्ट, दिस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर सेबी सिलेबस. इन कंपनीज एक्ट सेक्शन 47 से एक्स्ट्रा जा रहा हूं, लिसन केयरफुली. दिस इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ योर काउंटिंग. इन सेक्शन 47 of the Companies Act said कि if you have not paid any dividend to preference shareholders for 2 years, if you have not paid any preference shareholders, if you have not paid any amount, any dividend to preference shareholders for 2 years, they also have a voting right. ये section 47 of Companies Act, you will study in the Companies Act. ठीक है, तो वहां पे रिकॉल हो जाएगा कि हाँ भाई सर ने कभी ये पढ़ाया था. If preference shareholders don't have the voting, don't have received any dividend in 2 years, so they will also get the voting right. चेक कर लेना चेंज ना हुआ हो, बिकॉज आई एम एबल टू रिकॉल. जब मैं कल ये नोट्स पढ़ रहा था, तो जो मैंने पढ़ा था उससे मैंने रिकॉल करा था. ठीक है, समझ आ गया. आगे चले. नाउ इन इक्विटी शेयर्स ऑल्सो, in equity shares or in preference shares also, we have so many different types. Let's say in equity shares we have normal shares. In equity shares we have normal equity shares, or we have DVRs. What are DVRs? Basically differential voting right. What is differential voting right means? Differential voting right means you have, let's say, less power to vote, or you don't have a right to vote, or you have a higher power, let's say higher percentage or value of vote. That is DVRs. I will give you an example. In market, if you go home today, check the Tata Motors ke, you will get normal shares also and you will get DVR shares also. What DVR share that there means? You don't have a voting right. So you will not receive a mail कि हाँ भाई आज आपकी वोट पड़नी है. If you buy shares ना, you will receive mail from the company that today we have a voting day, so you can post your vote. So here in case of Tata Motors, you can check they have issued DVRs. Same in the case of preference shares, there can be so many types of preference shares, that is convertible, non-convertible. Convertible means those preference shares which can be converted into equity shares after let's say some year. Non-convertible, they are not converted into equity shares. Similarly, cumulative, non-cumulative, non-participatory. Non-participatory, they don't participate in management. Cumulative means their dividend will accumulate. Let's say if we don't pay this year, we are going to add this amount which we didn't pay this year to next year. We will add this amount to the next year, and next year we are going to pay you 2 rupees. That is cumulative preference shares. ठीक, चले आगे. Issue of shares already discussed. Either it could be at par. The face value is rupees 10. The face value is rupees 10 of my share. If I issue this share at rupees 10 only, that means at par. If I issue that share at let's say rupees 13, that means at a premium. If I issue at rupees 8, that means discount. And listen carefully, section 53 of Companies Act don't allow you to issue shares at discount except in the case of sweat equity shares. ठीक है, ये भी कंपनीज एक्ट में पढ़ोगे, मैंने थोड़ा सा पहले बता दिया. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? चले आगे. नेक्स्ट इज यूटिलाइजेशन. बहुत सारे कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स में इससे क्वेश्चन आता है. यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम रिजर्व. नाउ you are collecting 3 rupees extra. You are collecting 3 rupees extra from the individuals. Your share is worth 10 rupees. You are asking 3 rupees. So you are asking extra money from the investors. So government said, don't use this extra money anywhere. I am giving you 5 points. You can utilize this extra 3 rupees. You can utilize this extra 3 rupees in these 5 cases only. You can utilize this extra 3 rupees in these 5 cases only. First one is issue of fully paid bonus shares. What are bonus shares? We will discuss in the next class most probably. Bonus shares basically giving free shares to investors. Today I am very happy we have extra reserves with us. I am giving one extra share to my extra shares to shareholders. ठीक है, to issue fully paid bonus shares, to write off preliminary expenses. What are preliminary expenses? The expenses which we incurred before the incorporation of the business. Business के start होने से पहले जो खर्चे हुए, you can write off that. ठीक है, to write off securities, issued expenses, commission paid, discount on issue of securities. Expenses related to issue of shares. I have paid commission to someone to sell these shares to you, na? Let's say I have hired underwriters, so we can write off that expense. ठीक है, or either to pay premium payable on redemption of preference shares and debentures. Listen carefully. Here, what is premium on redemption of preference shares means? I have issued 5,000 equity shares. I have issued 5,000 preference shares. Equity shares can't be redeemed. हो सकते हैं, अभी नहीं बताऊंगा. लेकिन देखो, let's say I have, listen carefully, I have 10,000 shares total. I have 10,000 shares, out of which we have decided 5,000 are equity one and 5,000 are 5,000 are preference one. As I told, किसको बताया था मैंने कि you sell your shares with other investors in secondary market. Now company want to reduce its share capital. I don't want that 10,000 shares will be available in market. I want कि चलो ठीक है 8,000 that are sufficient. I want to reduce my share capital. I want to reduce my share capital. So what will I say? I will ask you investors to give back these shares to me and get some money. And I will pay you. In case of preference shares, we call this redemption of preference shares. Redemption of preference shares. Or let's say before issuing preference shares, I already mentioned you that I'm going to take shares back from you after 10 years and pay you money back. That is the redemption of preference shares. If we are taking back equity shares, we call them buyback of shares. Buyback of shares. ठीक है? Now let's say I have taken 10 rupees while issuing this preference shares to you. Now you and I'm agreeing. Now if you sell back this preference share to me, I will give you 15 rupees. If you sell, because it's already 10 year, 15 year, after 10 year, 15 year, I will give you 15 rupees. I am paying you 5 rupees extra. This 5 rupees is premium I'm paying to you. That is basically premium payable on redemption of redeemable preference shares. Similarly, in the case of debentures, if you paid extra amount while redeeming the shares, getting back the shares, that is known as redemption, a premium paid on redemption of preference shares. ठीक है? Similarly, you can utilize security premium reserve for buyback of shares. You can utilize the amount to buy back shares. I have to pay something, na? Let's say I ask, I'm going to pay you 18 rupees. Equity shareholders ko. I'm going to pay you 18 rupees. Give back my equity shares. Now I can utilize this 3 rupees which I received from you only as a premium. I can utilize this for buybacking my shares. ठीक है? बात समझ आ गई? ये बात समझ आ गई? So we can utilize this SPR, security premium reserve. Firstly, I will keep all my premium in one account. This account is known as security premium reserve and utilize for this 5 purposes only. Now अब मेरे को ना learning में बहुत problem होती थी. So I make shortcuts to learn things. So I am sharing one of my shortcut with you. ठीक है ना? उल्टे सीधे ही बनाता था, but ठीक है. So I have to recall these 5 things na, in exam. Generally they will say that out of this 5, which one company can't utilize its SPR for which one of the following. So you have to remember all the 5. तो इधर मैंने shortcut बनाया था. पैसे लेके, मतलब प्रीमियम के पैसे लेके हमने 2 वाइन परचेज करी and we have purchased 2 beers. We have purchased 2 wine and 2 beers. So P is for basically premium payable on redemption of preference shares. Premium payable on redemption. फिर है हमारे पास W, writing of preliminary expenses, writing of securities issues expenses. Then we have B, bonus shares and buyback of shares. That's how I recalled when I was learning this. So you can also recall कि पैसे से हमने वाइन और बियर पी ली. ठीक है? और if you have to learn something, हमेशा ट्राई करा करो. It helps with me. मतलब आज भी if I have to learn anything, I generally make a shortcuts of it and remember through shortcut only. ठीक है? Absolutely correct, Rishi. It's totally depend what differential voting right means. You have voting right, you have a lesser voting right, you don't have a voting right, You have a higher voting right. That is DVR. ठीक है, चले आगे. Now we have a terminology known as call in arrears, call in advances. Before starting, एक बार बता दो, it's the chat all clear to all of you. Can we proceed ahead? आज पूरी थ्योरी अभी तक हम फोकस कर रहे हैं. अभी तक जो हमने करा कि हाउ एक्चुअली कंपनी इशू शेयर्स. बाकी स्टूडेंट्स भी जल्दी से जल्दी 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 जल्दी. Especially those who are from the non-commerce background. All clear? चलो बढ़िया बढ़िया. At the end of the chapter, I will show you. You can easily answer the past year questions. You can easily answer the exam. चलो, let's go ahead. Now we are going to go through few more terminologies. First is call in arrears. What is call in arrears? पढ़ लिया हमने. We have 10 rupees face value of the share, in which I asked 2 in application, 3 in allotment, 3 in call money, and then 2 on final call. Let's say if any shareholder didn't pay me the call money, this is known as call in arrears. Call in arrears. Call in arrears means the investors has not paid the called up amount. I asked you to pay 3 rupees. I asked you to pay 3 rupees as first call. Or let's say Deepa denied, sir, I don't have a money, so I'm not going to pay you. Then this 3 rupees is basically call in arrears. What is call in advance? Let's say if Muskan pay me some advance money, sir, please keep this amount with you. Please keep this amount with you and adjust in the call. ठीक है, तो वो हो गया कॉल्स इन एडवांस. अच्छा, इसका मेजर रोल अब देखना, मैं एक चीज बताता हूं. व्हाट इज बेसिकली a concept of pro rata allotment. I am teaching you a concept of pro rata allotment. ध्यान से सुनना. देखो, let's say I am issuing 10,000 shares. ठीक है, 10,000 ही रखते हैं. I am issuing 10,000 shares. Now 20,000 investors applied in my shares. Each one of you, hypothetically assume, each one of you asked for 2 shares. Rather than 1 share, you are asked for 2 shares. What one option I have, that I will reject 10,000 shares, the demand for 10,000 shares, and any 5,000 of you give 2 to 2 shares each. First thing which I can do, reject 5,000 students, and to remaining 5,000 students, I will pay 2 shares each. You all are demanding 2 shares. ध्यान से सुनना, repeating again. 10,000 shares I want to issue. ठीक है, you all are 10,000 students only. Now you are asking 2 shares each. So there is a total demand of 20,000 shares. Firstly, what I can do, I reject 5,000 students and allot remaining 5,000 students 2 shares each. ठीक है, allot remaining students 2 shares each. Other thing which I can do, you are 10,000 now. I will ask you, you are asking 2 shares, please take 1. ठीक है, here I am distributing my shares with all of you. You have applied for 2 shares. Sir, I want to buy 2 shares, but I will give you only 1. ठीक है, so that everyone will get some shares. Similarly, let's say if you applied for 10 shares, I will give you only 5 shares. If you applied for 100 shares, I will give you only 50 shares. Because the ratio comes out to be total demand of 20,000 shares है. ठीक है, तो 1:2 बना. This is how much you applied and this is how much I allotted you. Let's say I want to issue 10,000 shares and there is a demand of 50,000 shares and I am doing pro rata allotment. I'm not giving all. So in this case, the ratio comes up to be 1:5. If you apply for 5 shares, you will receive only 1 share. If you apply for 10 shares, you will receive 2. If you apply for 500 shares, you will receive 100. If you apply for 5,000 shares, you will receive 1,000. Now, many of you will say, okay, sir, let's say if you applied for 1 share, I know you are going to ask this, but in practical life, you can't apply for 1 share. You know that? There is always a lot which is available. I will never I'll give you 1 share. There is a lot of somewhere around 15,000 rupees. Okay, na? The minimum number of shares is already mentioned in the prospectus. That you have to apply for minimum, let's say 100 shares. You have to minimum apply for 50 shares. Or in maximum cases, company reject the shares. They didn't do pro rata allotment. Rare cases. Yes, pro rata allotment happen in case of oversubscription. Absolutely correct. If only there is a demand of 10,000 shares only, why there is any need to divide? Yeah, only there is a demand of 8,000 shares. Then there is no need for pro rata allotment. Na? When demand is higher than what I am willing to sell, then only either I can reject few and accept all. देखो पहला केस क्या बना, I will reject few and accept remaining. सेकेंड क्या हो सकता है, I will do pro rata allotment. या तीसरा भी क्या हो सकता है, I reject few and pro rata with the remaining. तीनों में क्या हुआ देखो, 10,000 shares थी और let's say demand थी 20,000 की. I rejected 10,000 shareholders and give full to remaining 10,000. Here pro rata में I give in the ratio of 1:2. In this I can do कि I reject 5,000 shares and do a pro rata allotment in the ratio of 1:5. It's totally my call. ठीक. Next is private placement of shares. Private placement of shares means you are not offering shares to general public, rather than you are offering shares to private individuals. That is private placement of shares. ठीक है. बेसिकली जो इंस्टीट्यूशनल इन्वेस्टर्स होते हैं वो सारा हमारा आ गया प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट ऑफ शेयर्स. नेक्स्ट इज एम्प्लॉय स्टॉक ऑप्शन प्लान. व्हाट इज ESOP? ESOP we are going to discuss in detail. तो ESOP है क्या, बेसिकली गिविंग शेयर्स टू एम्प्लॉयज. अभी के लिए इतना ही. वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दैट इन अ डिटेल व्हेन ESOP चैप्टर पढ़ेंगे. चले, एनी डाउट टिल नाउ? नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद द मेन crux of today class, that is how to pass journal entries in case of issue of shares. If you have any doubt, ask, then I will proceed with this session. देखो जैसे जैसे समझाया ना पूरी क्लास में, now if you understand each and everything, it will be a cherry on cake for you to pass journal entries. But make sure you have attended my basic lectures, that is how to pass journal entries. बाकी स्टूडेंट्स भी जल्दी से. ये सीसी क्या हुआ? हाँ, ये सीसी क्या हुआ? CS लिखते तो क्लियर सर. कभी कभार तो लगता है मैं ज़्यादा वो हो गया हूँ, ओल्ड हो गया हूँ. मेरे को एब्रीविएशंस नई टर्म नए स्टूडेंट्स की पता नहीं चलती. हाँ जी रिमेनिंग स्टूडेंट, जल्दी जल्दी जल्दी। नहीं भाई मैं बहुत यंग हूँ अभी, तो ऐसा मत सोचना, अभी शादी भी नहीं हुई है मेरी। क्रिस्टल क्लियर, ओह वाह, अमेजिंग, क्रिस्टल क्लियर। चलो चलते हैं जर्नल एंट्रीज की ओर। अच्छा, I am issuing again. I am issuing 10,000 shares to you. Oh, sorry. Let's say I will ask. Sorry, I am passing journal entry from the point of view of one share. Listen carefully. I am passing journal entries from the point of view one share. It will be help to understand more better to you. I am issuing share to you. I have issue. I goes to market. I want to sell share. I want to sell share. You guys are going to apply. ठीक है, you guys are going to pay me. You guys are going to pay me. Listen carefully. Wait. You guys are going to pay me how much? You guys are going to pay me 2 rupees. Sir, I want to buy this share. I have not given share to you. So firstly, you are paying me. You are paying me rupees 2. So I will receive rupees 2. Debit what comes in. Sir, cash aaya. Cash nahi, let's say you deposited in bank. In real life, all deposited in bank. I will not go and give 2 rupees to Mukesh Ambani if they are issuing shares. I'm not going to go and give this 2 rupees to Ratan Tata if they are issuing shares. I'm going to deposit this 2 rupees in their bank account. So they receive 2 rupees. Right? In journal entries, we write the name of the giver, na? Who has given this money? I'm not going to write your name. You are so many. Here, I will create a liability and give the reason. Okay, I have received the amount due to share application. So, share application account 2 rupees. Let's say 10 of you applied, then 20, 1,000 of you applied, 20,000, 2,000, 2,000. 10,000 of you applied, 20,000, 20,000. Let's say I want to issue shares 10,000. I'm taking one example. ठीक है ना? Now I received a application of, let's say, 15,000. Let's say 20,000 only. 20,000 shares. I received application of 20,000 shares. How much application money I'm going to receive? You are applying for 20,000 shares, na? So I will receive 20,000 into 2, 40,000 rupees. I'm going to receive 40,000 rupees. Similarly, if there is a demand or investors applied for 10,000 only, I'm going to write 20,000. If you applied for 5,000 only, matlab the amount received by you as an application, I'm going to debit my bank account and credit share application money. ठीक है, absolutely correct, crystal clear. The first day I'm going to do this. Till now, remember that I have not issued this share to you. Till now, remember that I have not issued this share to you. Now, I will ask, let's say I received again. I want to issue 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each. ठीक है? Of rupees 10 each, and I asked rupees 2 as an application money. And 20,000 investors of shares, 20,000 shares is the demand. ठीक, what is going to be my next task? What is going to be my next task? I am going to allot you shares. Now I will say, ठीक है, listen carefully. Now what I will say to 10,000 shareholders, I am rejecting your claim. I am rejecting your application money, not your claim. I am rejecting your application money and giving shares to remaining 10,000 shareholders. ठीक है? So what I am going to do? I received 40,000 rupees, na? As a share application, I received 40,000 rupees. I am going to transfer this 40,000. Firstly, to those who have rejected the application money, I am going to refund their 2 rupees. I rejected the application money of 1000 shareholders, 10,000 shareholders. So I'm going to give back 10,000 shareholder 2 rupees. I will refund their 2 rupees. So my bank will go out. My bank amount will reduce. ठीक है. Now with the remaining 10,000 shareholders, I am giving them the shares. So I will accept their application money. I will accept their application money and transfer this application money to share capital account. इतनी बात समझ आ गई? To remember that when when a owner brings capital in the business, how we record that? याद करो पहली क्लास. How we record that? We record like this ना, bank account. यहां लिखता हूं, यही लिख देते हैं. How are we going to record that? Bank account debited 3 lakh rupees. Harneet sir brought 3 lakh rupees. Capital account credited 3 lakh rupees. We pass this journal entry now. We are doing same thing but in 2 steps. We are doing same thing but in 2 steps. Firstly, we received money in a bank. So here we debited our bank account. But I created my liability. What liability? Share application. Sir, why you created liability? Because I have not allotted all shares to you. Still, till now, I have not allotted shares to you. That's why I have created liability here. This 40,000 is a liability for me. Now, if I issue share to you, then I will transfer this amount to share capital account. So 40,000. And if I reject your application, I will refund you remaining 22 rupees. So घूम फिरा के शेयर एप्लीकेशन से शेयर एप्लीकेशन तो कट ही गया ना. अगर मुझे एक कंबाइंड एंट्री मारनी होती तो इट्स लाइक दैट ना, बैंक अकाउंट डेबिटेड 40,000, बैंक अकाउंट क्रेडिट 20,000, शेयर कैपिटल 20,000. घूम फिरा के तो यही आया ना, बैंक टू कैपिटल अकाउंट, बैंक टू कैपिटल अकाउंट. So I transferred 20,000 to capital, but in indirect manner. Why indirect manner? Because I have not allotted, didn't made you owner. जब तक मैं owner बनाऊंगा नहीं, how I can transfer the amount to capital account? The moment I made you a owner, I will transfer whole amount to share capital. Let's say we don't have any option. 3 cases होते हैं ना. देखो, over subscription, normal subscription. Let's say I want to sell 10,000 shares and there is a demand of 10,000 shares only. How I am going to record? कि बैंक में I received 2 rupees application money, so 20,000 rupees. I will make this as my liability. Share application 20,000 rupees. Now I will transfer. Once I made you a owner, I will allot you a share. I will transfer this application money. I will transfer this application money to share capital. Let's say there is no case of oversubscription. Doing the same thing na, bank to capital account. But doing in 2 steps. Why 2 steps, sir? Because the moment you give me money in my business, that moment I have not made you an owner. The date at which I made you owner, I will transfer the amount given by you. I will transfer the amount given by you to share capital. So if I don't made you owner, I will refund your money and give back your amount. ठीक है, ये बात समझ आ गई. तो ये पहली एंट्री समझ आई अभी तक जो मैंने डिस्कस किया. Firstly, we received application money, then I transferred application money to share capital. अभी भी ये खत्म नहीं हुई है लड़ाई, आगे चलते हैं इसी ट्रांजैक्शन में. देखो, in case I want to issue 10,000 shares You wanted 10,000, मतलब public want 10,000 shares. There is a no fight. I give shares to everyone. ठीक है. फिर आ गई बात कि if let's say there are 20,000 demand, I will reject 10,000 and refund them their application money, and to 10,000 I transfer the amount to share capital. ठीक है. रिमेनिंग बच गए को शेयर कैपिटल में. लेट्स से वी डिड अ प्रो राटा अलॉटमेंट. ध्यान से सुनना एक सेकंड. लेट मी टेक फर्स्ट आउट. इज इट T1 प्लस सेटलमेंट सर? नो, एब्सोल्युटली नो. This is a process of issuing shares. T1 settlement is something different, which is related to secondary market, which is buying and selling of shares in secondary market, not related to primary market. ठीक है मोहन? This is not T11, T+1. समझ आ गया? चलो वापस आते हैं. आज आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो, डजंट मीन कि आपको अलॉटमेंट कल या परसों होगी. इट विल टेक फ्यू डेज. 5-7 दिन तो मेरे को खुद को याद आते हैं कि if I apply for shares, it will take 5 to 8 days to allot you shares. Oh, let's do pro rata allotment. Pro rata allotment case. Let's say, ध्यान से सुनना. Let's say, as in case of pro rata allotment, I want to issue 10,000 shares. You want to buy 20,000 shares. Let's say 2 each. Yeah, 4 of you. You applied for, let's say you applied for 200 shares. In case of pro rata allotment, I will give you only 100 shares. तो allotment कितनी हुई? 100 shares की. ठीक है. You applied for 200 shares, you received only 100 shares. So when you are applying for 200 shares, you paid me 2 rupees each, 400 rupees. You paid me 400 rupees. Right? सही बात है. You paid me 400 rupees. Now I am allotting you 100 shares. So you will say कि sir, for 100 shares which you are allotting, keep this 2 rupees. So I am going to transfer this to a share capital. For the remaining 100 shares, please refund my 2 rupees. So I will give back 200 rupees to you and transfer the remaining 200 with the share capital. Right or wrong? Sir, absolutely right. यही होना चाहिए था एक्चुअल प्रोसेस. Let's say, rather than giving back you 200 rupees for the shares which you have not allotted, I will ask, let's say, rather than refunding this amount to you, I will keep this with me. Why? You will say, why? You have to pay me allotment money ना. वहां adjust कर लेंगे. I am going to take 3 rupees from you in allotment money. Rather than refunding you 200 rupees, I asked you कि I have to take 300 rupees from you in allotment ना. 100 shares into 3 rupees. I am going to deduct that amount 200 rupees from you. So I am keeping your advance. Rather than refunding you, I am keeping this 200 rupees as advance. I will deduct this in case at the time when you have to pay allotment money. I will deduct this 200. At that time, pay me 100 only. This is basically calls money in advance. Money received in advance from shareholders. समझ आ गया? That's why we have a transaction here. That share application money, whole 40,000, will be the amount of shares which we have issued will be transferred to share application or share capital, sorry, share capital में जाएगी 20,000 rupees. If I refund the amount, the amount will be bank account. If I keep that as an advance for allotment money, I will keep that amount here. समझ आ गया? I will transfer the amount here if in case I keep your advance. Rather than refunding you, I am transferring that amount to allotment money. ठीक है, ये बात समझ आ गई. ये दो ट्रांजैक्शन समझ आ गई. देन आई गो अहेड. Is these two transactions are clear? Doing nothing. If received application money, I'm going to do bank account debit to share application account. Now I'm going to transfer this application amount to share capital, basically to whom allotted the shares. To do whom we don't allotted the shares, I am going to refund it. In case there is a pro rata, I will keep, if I keep advance, then I will transfer to share allotment. ठीक है. Now we go ahead. What we are going to do? Next thing what we are going to do. Now you applied for the shares. I am going to allot you shares. I will ask for the allotment money. देखो earlier ध्यान से सुनना. In case of application money, you are paying me first. Then I am transferring the amount to capital. ठीक है ना? Now in case of allotment money, I have already given you shares. Shares are in your hand. I will ask, please pay me allotment money. So I am going to transfer the allotment money. I am going to make due your allotment money and transfer the amount to share capital. Easy example रखते हैं. Let's say I want to issue 10,000 shares. There is a demand of 10,000 shares only. I'm going to make you my debtor 10,000 shares into 3 rupees, 30,000 rupees, and transfer this amount to share capital. I'm going to make you my debtor. What debtor means? From whom I have to receive money in future. याद करो. Rather than writing your name here, actual में करना क्या चाहिए था? Let's say I allotted a share to Mamta, so I have to write Mamta account debited to share capital. Right? Here I am making Mamta as a debtor from whom I have to receive money. But there are so many shareholders. That's why I'm creating one single account known as share allotment account. This means that I am making you a debtor. Now you have to pay me 30,000 rupees. Why you have to pay me 30,000 rupees? Because you are the owner. You have to give me a capital. If you have to give me capital, देखो actual entry in case of हमने sole proprietorships क्या देखी थी? Bank to share capital ना, याद करो. Let's say in case of partnership, I and Namita decided to start a business that I'm going to invest 60,000. Namita is going to invest 40,000. Namita said, "Sir, keep this 20,000. Remaining, I will pay 20,000 in after let's say 10 days." I'm going to record that. I will record. ठीक है, bank account 20,000. Namita, from Namita, I have business have to take 20,000. total capital of share capital is total capital of 40,000. I will make a Namita debtor that business has to receive 20,000 from Namita. Same thing I am doing here. I know that you have to pay me capital of 30,000. You are the owner of the business. You have to pay in the capital. I have to pass the journal entry bank account to capital account. But here I am duing your money. I am making you debtor. Lao bhai, pay me money. I am creating share allotment account. ठीक है. अब when you pay me 30,000 rupees, now you all guys are going to pay me allotment money, 3 rupees each, 3 rupees each, 3 rupees each. I am going to debit, मेरा बैंक बढ़ेगा. I am going to debit 30,000 rupees. And जो आपकी liability थी, I am going to reduce that. इन दोनों को कंबाइन करके देखो, what will be the entry? Bank account debit to share capital account. देखो ना, शेयर अलॉटमेंट डेबिट करा था हमने 30,000 से, हेयर शेयर अलॉटमेंट क्रेडिट कर दिया 30,000 से. तो शेयर अलॉटमेंट तो खत्म हो गया. एक्चुअल एंट्री बची क्या? बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट टू शेयर अलॉटमेंट. If I, rather than due your amount, I directly received your cash, I'm going to pass this entry. But actually in real life, firstly I will due the amount. Then I receive the amount. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? I am duing your amount, I am receiving your amount. In case of application money, firstly we receive the amount, then transfer. Here I am transferring first, then receiving. Transferring means transferring to capital account. ठीक है. Let's say out of few deny to pay. What I'm going to do? Bank account, let's say 25,000, 5,000 shareholder. Let's say I have 10,000 shares. Demand is also for 10,000 only. You all have to pay me 30,000 rupees. Sorry. Let's say 1,000 shareholders denied to pay. That's why we don't have money to pay you for allotment. How much I am going to receive? Sir, 27,000 rupees. How much liability I have to reduce? Sir, 27,000 rupees. Or we can do one more thing. We will remove this 27,000 liability and create one more account, that is call in arrears. 3,000 rupees. Oh sorry, ऊपर बनेगा. Here, call in arrears. 3,000 rupees. ठीक, इतनी बात समझ आई? जितनी अमाउंट वी आर रिसीविंग सिर्फ वो लिखनी है इन बैंक. समझ आ गया? हाँ जी. चले आगे. So till now we have covered two things. Firstly, I am receiving application money. Then I am transferring your application money. Firstly, I am creating your due of our allotment. Please pay me allotment money. Then you are paying me allotment money. ठीक. Same thing we are going to do with calls also. Now I will say, जैसा allotment में हुआ था, now I will say, please pay me call money. 30,000 rupees. I am creating you debtor here. ठीक है, एंड ट्रांसफरिंग द अमाउंट टू शेयर कैपिटल अकाउंट. Same. Now, when you pay me call money, I'm going to debit bank and remove this account and remove this account. I due your call payment here. 30,000 debited, 30,000 credited. Now I receive 30,000 from you. I will debit my bank and remove this share capital account or call account 30,000. वही देखो, कंबाइन करके देख लो. शेयर कॉल डेबिटेड विथ 30,000 and share call credited with 30,000. At end of the day, the balance of share call is zero. At end of the day, what is happening? Bank to capital. Base अपना यही है. But firstly, I am duing your amount, then receiving your amount. ठीक, ये बात समझ आ गई. चलें आगे. Next is what if I will ask hold. As of now, we are studying that the face value of shares is 10 rupees. Firstly, you are paying 2 rupees an application money, 3 rupees an allotment money, then 3 rupees as a call money, first call, and 2 rupees. अरे दलजीत दोसांझ वाली वॉइस कैसे आ रही है मेरी? 2 rupees as a call money. इतना डिफिकल्ट नहीं आएगा. आई एम कीपिंग टीचिंग यू एट अ वेरी हाई लेवल. मतलब if any question in comes during exam, you can easily answer it. अब तक आई हैव, मतलब जो लास्ट 2 years के मैंने पेपर्स देखे हैं, 2 पेपर्स, उनमें ये क्वेश्चंस नहीं थे. कौन से थे? आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस दैट. देखो, it's not like that you have to go through questions. Firstly, you have to understand concept, then you have to check that you are able to answer or not. देखो, इन रियल लाइफ जनरली अलॉटमेंट के टाइम पे तो ड्यू होगा नहीं. आई एम गोइंग टू गिव यू शेयर्स एंड रिसीव अलॉटमेंट. तो इसलिए जनरली टर्म यूज करा था कॉल इन एरियर्स कि नाउ आफ्टर फ्यू मंथ्स आई एम आस्किंग फॉर अ कॉल मनी एंड यू डिनाइड टू पे मी, देन आई विल राइट कॉल इन एरियर्स. इसको भी बता देता हूं, एक बार देख लो. लेट्स से व्हाई वी डोंट हैव कॉल इन अलॉटमेंट वर्ड. रीजन बीइंग, जनरली अलॉटमेंट के टाइम में सब पे करेंगे बिकॉज आई एम अलॉटिंग यू शेयर्स. जनरली कॉल इन एरियर्स तब होता है कि व्हेन यू आर आई एम आस्किंग फॉर अ कॉल मनी आफ्टर 1 month. ठीक है, क्योंकि तब तक फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन चेंज हो चुकी होती है इंडिविजुअल की. शेयर कॉल, आई ड्यू 30,000 रुपीज एंड ट्रांसफर टू कैपिटल. नाउ लेट्स से 2,000 shares, let's say 500 shares. 500 shareholders denied to pay me 3 rupees. This comes out to be 1,500. I will receive a bank of only how much? I will receive a bank of 28,500. I will receive cash of 28,500. I will create here call in arrears account. Debit 1,500. Total credit share capital 30,000. Share call 30,000. Here I created call in arrears account. See, I am maintaining my books of account now. I can do one more thing. Call in arrears बनाया ही नहीं. I kept the amount in share call account only. ठीक है, ये समझ आ गया. Here we can create call in arrears account. The second option which I have, rather than creating call in arrears account, मैंने share call को ही 28,500 ऐसे रहने दिया. ठीक है, when the remaining shareholder pay me, I will do this. Bank account 1,500, share call 1,500. ठीक है, when you You pay me due amount. Bank account 1500, share call account 1500. Let's say I opened call in arrears account. In this case, when I receive the money, I will credit call in arrears account. I am repeating again. दो चीजें हैं, देखो थोड़ी सी जगह देख लेते हैं. यहां पे दो चीजें हैं. You open call in arrears account. You didn't open it. When you open it, how you are going to record? बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट कितना आया 28,500. कॉल इन एरियर अकाउंट 1500 और शेयर कॉल अकाउंट 30,000. When you receive the due amount, bank 1500, call in arrears 1500. When you don't create call in arrears account, bank account debit 28,500, share call account 28,500. When you receive the amount, bank account 28,500, oh not 1500, share call account 1500. ये वही बात है, कान चाहे ऐसे पकड़ो चाहे वैसे पकड़ो. If you are creating call in arrears account, you have to pass these entries. If you are not creating call in arrears account, you can directly go through like this. You credited first call with 28,500, then the remaining with 1500. So then what is the purpose of creating call in arrears account if we can go like this? Because then we can see that we have arrears of this amount. It will separately show that you have arrears of this amount. I hope that is clear now. Okay, we have covered till this. We will going to continue from here tomorrow. If you have any doubt, ask me. Acha, before leaving, make sure, I think today's class is on YouTube. So make sure you like this session. All of you, please like this session. Jaldi se. There are more than 50 students are sitting here. Please like the session. Then I will take your doubts now. Hanji, doubts. We are going to continue from here in tomorrow's class. Thank you, Namita. Any doubt? Thank you, Shri Krishna Rajan. Notes will be uploaded in the course today only. And I have uploaded the practice questions for basics of accounting. So make sure you practice those questions. Sir, why do we need to transfer bank account to capital account? Anybody wants to answer this question? Let me check. Anybody wants? I think book of previous year is already in your course. Already uploaded in your course. A whole ebook of previous year papers is already in your course. Why we transfer bank to capital? Arey bachcha, I think you are attending on a YouTube and you are attending my first class. So first day sikhate hain how we are going to record a transaction. We are going to follow debit credit rules. So when a owner invests money in the business, what comes in? Bank account comes in. Money comes in. That's why we debit bank account. And who is the giver? owner is the giver. Rather than writing the name of the owner, we write capital account. If you don't know the basic rules of debit and credit, Vidya, firstly go through them, then you can understand this. Absolutely, Namita. Yes. Vishal Giri. Acha, sir, in banking, debit credit terms have different meaning. Acha, yaar, today we are on YouTube. We already discussed in the previous class. Hanji, my students, why there is a jaldi se pata chal jayega. Why there is a difference? Who is going to answer the Vishal question? Sir, in banking, credit debit terms have different meanings. Who is going to answer that? We have already discussed in the previous class. We have already discussed. Who is going to give the Vishal answers? All the students who are present in the previous class. Jaldi se. Debit for us, credit for bank, liability for bank. Absolutely correct, Rishi. Listen, Vishal. So if you deposit your, let's say I'm bank. If you deposit 100 rupees in a bank, what bank is going to record? Bank has received 100 rupees. From whom he has received 100 rupees? From Vishal. He will credit your amount. He will credit your account. That in future Vishal is my creditor. In future I have to pay Vishal 100 rupees. That's why bank credited your account with 100 rupees when you deposit. ठीक है? From bank's perspective, they credited your account. They made you a liability to whom they have to pay 100 in future. So when you withdraw anything, they debit your account. I hope that is clear now. चलो मिलते हैं कल की क्लास में मॉर्निंग 7 AM. Bye bye. Take care. All the best. Have a nice day. Thank you everyone.